These are talking points. These are all very sophisticated conversations. There's a lot to them. But we want to give you a time once again to ask some specific questions while they're here. And there's materials from each of them out on the tables as well. So again, Kim's going to go around. She's got the microphone as you want to ask questions of the experts here. Now's the time to do so. So we'll give you a moment to collect your thoughts.
I just want to make a quick comment. As far as POLST is concerned, you can, in New Jersey, you can call any of your Office on Aging, and they will give you the information about the POLST form. Something else, just so you know, in regards to making an advance directive, you can also call your Office on Aging. There are a few out there. There's one called the 5 Wishes. They also have other advance directives that are 1 or 2 forms that you can fill out. You can talk to your doctor about it, and that is a form that you can use. You make copies, you give it to your primary care physician, and they will send it if you go to the hospital and things of that nature, just so you know. That's about it. Thank you.
Could I chime in on that as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Just if you want to quickly learn about POLST. And I was responsible for getting that legislation in place back in 2009. You can go to the Hospital Association's website, which is njha.com/POLST, P-O-L-S-T. And you'll see the form, and you'll also see guidance to the healthcare provider types about using the form. But by all means, take a look at it and get it filled out. It's very important.
Any other questions? Yep.
This is for, I'm sorry, for Darren. So you had just said don't hire a home health aide under the table. Can you get into a little bit more detail on why that's a big problem, other than like sort of the obvious workers' compensation? And
First of all, it's illegal. That's the number one answer. But it is illegal. The IRS considers a home health aide to be an employee, and you are an employer. So that means from a legal perspective, the IRS, as well as the state of New Jersey, has the right to come after you as the agent, just like they can come after me for failure to pay withholding tax. Okay? That's one thing. The second thing is, as Margaret reminded me, you have a liability issue, right? Most of them are not insured. So if something happens, right, you have that issue. Home health agencies are obviously regulated by the state of New Jersey, require a license to have insurance. And then again, the same point I made before is for Medicaid purposes, you are effectively making a gift. And you can't gift away your assets for eligibility purposes. Does that help? Yes. Okay.
Background checks?
Background checks. That's another good point. Background checks, right? Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment to the young people here. What a nice tribute to your dad, and it's so wonderful of you to come out and help other people. I think you're amazing.
I 100% agree with that.
I'll make a comment.
Sure.
I can talk forever.
Okay. Are you billing us?
So another thing that comes up with frequency, and this just happened recently with a client, New Jersey is the 4th state in the country where our Supreme Court in New Jersey issued a ruling that it's illegal for a non-attorney, which would include an attorney not licensed in New Jersey, to provide any advice on getting eligible for Medicaid. Okay? So there's lots of organizations out there, quite frankly, that are running around, running into nursing homes and whatever, and paying fees basically that attorneys charge to get somebody on Medicaid. My experience is it's virtually impossible to do a Medicaid application without doing legal advice. Okay? There's also another government benefit called aid and attendance. Through the Veterans Association. It's a non-service related disability payment. This is the incident we had recently. It is illegal to charge a fee up front for that application. Okay? So if anybody wants to charge a fee to help get aid and attendance up front, that is illegal. It's against the law. So my advice, of course, I'm selfish, but and biased, but when the state of New Jersey issued this ruling, the Elder Law Division of the New Jersey Bar wanted to get class action lawsuits going against these companies. Unfortunately, it didn't get traction it should have, but just be very wary because that got followed up by the Division of Consumer Affairs segment of the Attorney General issued also a white paper on this about using what they call a Medicaid advisor to get Medicaid. So just be very wary when you're out there. If you end up going to a nursing home and they're recommending a non-attorney to help you with Medicaid, turn and run the other way, all right? You will pay more for an attorney, right? I mean, on average, you generally will pay more, but you know, the attorney can give you legal advice and do other things that these folks can't. So in October of last year, the Veterans Association issued final regulations. They adopted a lot of the Medicaid concepts to get eligibility. So one of which is now there's a net worth concept. So your annual income plus your non-exempt assets cannot exceed $127,061. However, your annual income can be reduced by what veterans calls unreimbursed medical expenses. That can be reduced down to zero. So if somebody's in assisted living or a nursing home or has a home health aide, that'll help reduce that number down to zero. It is an income tax-free benefit. So as long as the veteran or surviving spouse of a veteran who served in a wartime period had to do 90 days of active duty, you can get upwards of $2,200 or something like that a month of income tax-free money. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in on this. My name is Debbie Bottomley. I'm with the Monmouth County Veteran Services Office. I am an accredited veteran service office, and like the attorney did mention, it is illegal for anyone to charge you to fill out an application for any veteran's benefit. How the agencies or the companies are getting around it is they are charging for a consultation fee, or they are going to take your first 2 months of any retroactive payment that you receive. Like I said, according to VA law, it is illegal for anybody to charge you to do those applications. There are a number of different organizations. There's both county veteran service organizations and state veteran organizations that will provide that service for you free of charge. Aid and attendance is not a standalone benefit. Aid and attendance can go along with a service-connected compensation claim, or a non-service connected pension, or a survivor's pension. The survivor's pension and the non-service connected pension, as he mentioned, veteran would have had to have served 90 consecutive days with 1 day during a period of war. They did not have to be in the war and been honorably discharged. So there are services that are out there that you can get it free of charge, but there are a lot of agencies or companies that are going out and a lot of times what's happening is families are being referred to these agencies by assisted livings or nursing homes. So just be cautious. Like you said, if somebody is charging you for the service, look into it, because most likely it's something they cannot do. And just like Medicaid, they do have the VA now has a 3-year look-back period. Medicaid has a 5-year look-back period. They are asking questions about whether you've transferred any assets, established any trusts, given away property or assets. So you do have to be cautious of that.
Hi, I wanted to know I didn't completely understand the 5-year look back. I mean, if I was to go out, I mean, this is stupid, I'm saying. If I say I went to Atlantic City and blew a lot of money, I still am in the 5-year look back on my money? They look at my checking, they look at everything I own, right?
So
How does that, I don't get that.
I mentioned earlier, well, it's a 5-year look back is an arbitrary period of time that Congress picked, right? There's no rhyme or reason to it. But what Congress doesn't want, right, because Medicaid is a federal program, it's administered by the states. So the states can write their own rules, but under the Constitution, it can't be more restrictive than federal law. So, for example, California has a 30-month look back, okay? So they can go shorter, but they can't go longer, obviously. So Congress doesn't want I always use Bill Gates as an example. Congress doesn't want Bill Gates to give away all of his assets and get on Medicaid tomorrow, right? Prior to October 18th of 2018, Bill Gates could have gave away all of his assets and got veterans benefits the next day. That was one thing they changed. So what the rules say, what the regulations say, is any transfer, any uncompensated transfer for less than fair market value is a gift, okay? And then what happens is you get penalized. So to keep the math simple, let's say you gave away $100,000 during the 5-year look back, or let's even get more realistic. You paid a home health aide under the table $100,000 under the 5-year look back, right? You go to apply for Medicaid. Medicaid sees either, a cash payment or a check to so-and-so, and, the presumption under the law is it's a gift. So you have a $100,000 gift. The current divisor, to keep my math easy, CPA people are like, oh, you're good at math. No, if I don't have a calculator or Excel, forget it. Is approximately $10,000. So you take $100,000, you divide it by 10, you get a 10-month penalty. That means Medicaid's not going to pay room and board for 10 months. Okay? We had a client who, and we have clients because of, particularly with seniors and what have you, right? You have a cognitive impairment. You can't really control your brain function. They've gone to AC and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, the presumption with Medicaid in the county is that's a gift. All right? So then we have to rebut that. So we've gotten, affidavits from a neurologist or whatever. They can't control their behavior, things like that. And so, we've been successful in getting it rebutted. But yes, if you went to AC and spent a bunch of money.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the number is. Is there say my daughter needed money for a car, and I decided to help her, and I gave her $9,999 on it. Is that all?
That's a gift.
That is a gift, and it's okay with a gift?
Yep.
It's just the big numbers they're looking at?
Nope. So,
Anything?
well, it used to be when you filed an application, they would only look at $100 or more just because that's what the threshold was. But as you could imagine, with the shift in demographics and most people don't have long-term care, there's a ton of Medicaid apps going in, right? So, and unfortunately for the caseworkers, it's a thankless job, right? Everybody's yelling at them, right? So now they upped it to $1,000. Typically, they look at anything over $1,000. That doesn't mean if they don't see a pattern, they won't look at it, right? The lady mentioned Medicaid, VA now has a 36-month look back. There is a 5-year cap on that, though, so the penalty for VA can't exceed 5 years. There is no cap with Medicaid. So if you have a penalty that's beyond 5 years, it makes more sense not even to file, to wait for the 5 years to run, and then you would file for Medicaid.
Yes, a big thanks to the panel, and I want to, I know these individuals, worked with them in support groups, worked with them in different contexts, and they're just such dedicated professionals with a wealth of information. The members of our support group and families, just such a caring group. So many, many thanks for coming out and sharing today. And again, I encourage you to interact with them. They're here to help. They're great folks, so thanks very much.
Thank you.